You're listening to Family Business with Daphne. And on today's show, we're going to take what might appear to be a detour, but not really, not at all. So if you've joined us each week, we've talked about family business, how it's different from just being a small business. The family business owner has longevity in mind, has transferring the business to the next generation. So today, we're going to talk about the next generation. For my listeners here in the United States and elsewhere around the world as well, it's college season. Your peers, your siblings, cousins, children are entering college. What do you do? Do you just kind of turn them over and have them just experience the next 4 years of life, going into debt for that experience, or, going on your dime for that experience, and just let them do their own thing? Is that the right way to approach it? Should you, say, well, you're going to college and you're going to do this major and you're going to take this path? Should you do that? No. You want to allow freedom, but you absolutely want them to capture the next 4 years or next 2 years, next year, whatever it is, and maximize that time in college to develop their entrepreneurship skills. So today, we're going to talk about college advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. It's not going to be like the other students going to college. You do not begin college this way if you really are an entrepreneur. If this is your dream, if you want to make your own way in this world, earn your own income and revenue, create jobs for yourself, your family, and others, there's a way to approach college that's not traditional. It's not like the others. It's advice I wish someone had told me. So we're going to talk about that today, and I have two guests in the studio with me. But before I introduce them, let me make sure I let you know how to learn more about me, Daphne Mallory. Make sure you go to my new website, daphnemallory.org. It's my foundation, and it's my central hub now, where you can link to my blog, find out the projects that I'm up to, link to my social media on Facebook, which, by the way, is daphne.mallory.esq. Make sure you like my Facebook page because, I write a lot, but I also get written about a lot as well. I get interviewed on television, radio, and in print. And so I try to post all of those things on Facebook. So if you want to keep up with me and my many adventures in the world, definitely that's the way to do it. And secondly, I am now trying to get more active on Twitter. So Daphne Mallory, that's my Twitter handle. Find me there and follow me. I hope I have the right social media term there, right? Follow me. And then in addition to that, if you ever have a question, don't feel afraid at all. Don't think, oh, that girl is too busy. We know her story. She wakes up at 2:30. She's got 4 children. There's no way. I love to hear from you. I love to hear your ideas, and I love to do things with your ideas, by the way. I love to answer your questions, but some of you have said, oh, can you address this topic? Can you talk about this? And it will show up somewhere in a column of mine or on a show. So this is a community. I am not the be-all and end-all of ideas here, not at all. I'm just a facilitator of your wonderful ideas as well. So get them to me, and let's talk family business. And today, I'm really excited to introduce you to two women. I can call them women now, right? Because they're about to go to college. I can say women in the studio with me who are entering their college journey. And I have Sabya Mallory, and I have Hannah Cameron. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
We are going to talk about college advice, all the stuff that I wish someone would have told me when I was about to go to college. Some of you may know my story. I'm actually a first generation in the U.S. to go to college. I was born originally in Liberia, West Africa, lived in London for about 8 years or so, made my way to the States. And when I came to the United States, I lived in a poor neighborhood, literally like a few doors down from a brothel on a heavily drug-laden neighborhood. It was insane. But while I was going to high school, I was able to participate in this great program called the Upward Bound program. And it really helped me, this low-income student in this neighborhood, accomplish many things, learn about the whole college process. And because of that program, which, by the way, Viola Davis graduated from that same program. I got to introduce her once for an event at Upward Bound, which is insane. For those of you who don't know who Viola Davis is, famous African-American actress, is a part of different movie projects and TV projects on air. But anyway, went to the same program. And because of that program, I was able to graduate and go to Brown University, an Ivy League. A great opportunity because to this day, I leverage that college background and those relationships with my peers and alumni in the entertainment industry. A lot of Brown University folks are in the entertainment industry. So as an aspiring television producer and someone who wants to enter that industry, and as an entrepreneur, my greatest gift from college, besides the experience of college, would be the relationships with the alum, which was huge and is, it continues long after. Just this week, I was invited to participate in a Brown group on first generation students. So graduates. So college can be an entrepreneur's best friend. There's no, you are not a real entrepreneur if you go to college and just do the hard knocks life and drop out or whatever. You can absolutely have a great college experience if you navigate the waters well. So we are going to talk about that with these two ladies. So hopefully I can provide some advice, but hopefully I could also, parents and cousins and grandparents listening to this, maybe I could also generate for you some ideas, some questions you can ask your college freshmen going off to college or staying in your neck of the woods. Maybe provide a framework to have a conversation with them as well, so that they don't just go off and get soaked up in the college culture and not really maximize it for entrepreneurship purposes. So that's the purpose of today's show. So with that big intro, ladies, who has a burning question for me? What do you want to know about the college experience, or what advice do you want?
Well, I'm Hannah. Sorry, I'll point that out. I'm not Sabya. But I'm nervous about college because I do want to be an entrepreneur and I do want to study business. And, I want to learn, but I don't know if I want to so much major in that. Do you think that I could self-educate myself, or do you feel that I need to major in business or international business to pursue an entrepreneur lifestyle?
That's a great question. There is no correlation necessarily between your entrepreneurial ventures and dreams and the major. So, for instance, if you would ask, what do you think my major was? Now, Sabya, you might know what my major was because you've heard me talk a lot in speeches. But Hannah, can you guess what my major was?
Well, I know you were an attorney.
Yes, so. Yeah. So major, what would you think my major would be? Law, right?
Yeah.
I majored in English, pre-med, and an undergraduate teaching program. I had 3 majors going on because I had something to prove. I was an immigrant and pursuing the American dream hard, and I had a lot to prove. So I took 3 majors, and I had 3 jobs, like literally, on top of that. So is there a correlation between all of those majors and what I'm doing now? Not necessarily. When I graduated from Brown, I took my MCATs and got accepted to Duke University Medical School. I wanted to be a doctor. And if I had an opportunity to go back in time and do this all over again, I would understand that my major isn't the point. What's the point is the relationships I'm developing there and after, and what I can take as a major to take me to the next level, whatever that would be. And so we can talk more about that. What is the next level? How do you know what you're going to do after you graduate? But that's how I would select a major. So no, to answer your question, no.
And to go off to that one, do you feel like there's a major, like a certain major that I could study that would help prepare me, like if I had to choose between law and business?
Yes.
Like I understand, like sometimes you need to know the law to know, to be able to, for business. Yes. Internationally, you have to know your international laws. Do you think it's smarter to study law or national business, or
neither? Not for business.
Okay.
No, because what you need in the world of business, you will not learn in a college course.
Mm-hmm.
You will learn it on the quote-unquote streets surrounding the college campus, but not in a classroom. So no, the major will come from your passion and will come from your dream, but you're really learning to be an entrepreneur will be in actually building a business in college, which I highly recommend, which we'll get to. Man, if I could do it all over again, I would have launched a business. I helped to launch the entrepreneurship program at Brown. And I just wish I had the bang inside to actually launch a business at Brown. That would have been amazing. And we could definitely talk about that more. So no, you don't have to major in law. And I didn't major in law to go to law school where I learned more law. And you don't have to major in business because what I want you to learn as an entrepreneur, next generation family business leader is emotional intelligence, creativity, leadership development, and all of these other skills, how to sell first and foremost, that you will pick up here and there from courses, but more importantly, boots on the ground through internships, apprenticeships, clubs, competitions, summer jobs, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what college can help to provide for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were talking a lot about...
Who are you?
I'm Sabya.
My right hand.
Helping out. You were talking about how important it was to have connections and knowing people even after college. So from there, what advice do you have for joining clubs or fraternities or sororities or stuff like that? Like, where do I go so I hang with the right crowd that will help me get to the next place I need to go?
That's a great idea. So I don't personally, my own personal opinion, I never joined a sorority, wasn't into any of that. And I don't necessarily recommend it either. Because as an entrepreneur, you're a creative type. You can't really be boxed in. You know, I guess that's the heart of definition of being an entrepreneur. And so you want to find opportunities where you can soar, fly, and really become independent. That's the goal of entrepreneurship. And unfortunately, sometimes, not all the time, please do not send me hate mail if you're a part of X whatever sorority or fraternity, okay? My point is you don't want to box yourself in. You don't want to be defined by a group on campus. You should be learning how to explore your own individuality and creativity, and you want to be drawn towards groups that allow you to do that and stay away from groups that want to group you into a mob-like mentality. So that would be my advice. So I would highly recommend joining clubs that present an outlet for you to express your creativity rather than any association that would sort of have you join some group identity. Does that make sense? Does that answer that question? So look for those opportunities to soar. There are many clubs on campus. Look for a Plano entrepreneurship club. A lot of college campuses are now launching these entrepreneurship programs. If not, look for some sort of leadership program. Look for some sort of, when I was in law school, I participated in many clinics that allowed me to handle client files and, take leadership positions. So there might be something like that on a college campus where you can be a leader, where you can engage with the public, where you can learn project management skills. That's what you want to look for. Where can I go, take ownership of a project from beginning to end at some point, and have a mentor guide me through that process? Those are the opportunities you're looking for.
And I have another question. So you yourself is obviously very accomplished. I mean,
oh, well, thank you.
Did you say 3 majors?
3 majors.
I'll repeat
At
that.
what?
3 majors.
Pre-med on top of that would be what it, yeah.
But how do you know too much is too much? When's
Yes.
enough?
Yes.
And I myself, I feel like, I want to go get things. I want to get it done, and have it done. But I also want to enjoy my college years. I want to enjoy my life. So how do you, what do you think, or is there a level, a balance in your life that helps you keep yourself balanced?
That's a great question. Yes, because So if you remember what I said about those three majors, I had something to prove. I had the world on my shoulders. I was an immigrant with this amazing opportunity to attend an Ivy League, and I was going to save an entire country with this opportunity, which was insane. Mm-hmm. And a lot of immigrants feel that way, especially if you're a first generation in this country immigrant going to college. So I don't recommend what I did at all. Mm-hmm. What I recommend is that you begin the process now to discover who you are and understand your connection to, oh no, she's going to say it, God, who will guide you through this process so you know what you should be doing and not to take too much on. So I was totally led by this identity of first generation in this country immigrant, and I did everything that goes with that identity. If I could just turn back the hands of time, I would spend more time discovering who I was, my true identity, which I believe for me is to love and serve and do things in alignment with that. And that would have kept me in balance. I would not have done three majors. I would have done one. It would have been English to get me to law school. I didn't need to do pre-med. What was that about? Right? But I wasn't centered. I was pursuing this other identity. I would have just done English. I would have graduated. And I would have understood at that point, I went to an Ivy League with all of these entertainment professionals around me. And what is it that I truly have always known that I should have been doing? Television production. I didn't maximize that opportunity because I had my head in the pre-med books and pre-med lab trying to accomplish this identity that was never me. Mm-hmm. So follow, it's not cheesy. It's not fluff. It's real. It keeps you out of debt. Become who you are and you will stay out of debt because you won't be spending time paying for books and all this stuff that you should not be doing in the first place. It really is the beginning of how you leverage your entrepreneurial career in college. Know who you are. Please trust me. As someone who's been there and done that, listen to me. Spend the time to figure out who you are. And then everything else will fall into place, including quote unquote balance. Although I don't really believe in balance, but quote unquote balance.
Speaking of debt and money, I mean, that's the big thing, right?
Of course.
How do you figure out the money thing, especially if you're trying to start a business on top of going to college? Like you were saying, does the business fund the college? Does the college... How does this all work, and how does it work with money, and should I go into debt, and how much debt is okay?
That's a great question. So for you parents listening, this is not something that I had the opportunity to have, but as a parent and as a family business owner, maybe you have little ones right now and college is 10 years away or 15 years away, right? Part of your business planning, part of your motivation for getting up at 4. Everyone say, yes, 4, Daphne. 4 o'clock a.m. Yep. Part of that motivation is to do what you need to do every day to sell, to grow your business so that you can set aside enough funds for your children to go to college. Free. Doesn't that spoil them if you send them to college, and pay them? Doesn't that, they don't learn they will learn ethics and hard work ethics and all of that in the family business. Trust me. Okay. And you can certainly design some other plan of yours to ensure that there are hard work ethics. But that's part of the blessing of having a family business, part of the motivation that you should have so that you are doing family planning, not the other kind of family planning. I'm talking about economic family planning, having money set aside for college. But if you're entering freshman and that's not your situation, it wasn't mine. I certainly was blessed to have some scholarship money to go to Brown, but it didn't pay for all of it, right? So then the question becomes, well, do you go into debt to go to college? Is that a good idea or not? That is a very, very difficult question. And I'm glad you asked it. It's a very important question. And that's something really that can only come from you and your family. Because once upon a time, if you would have asked me this about 5 years ago, I'd have said, absolutely not. No debt. Never get into debt. thou shalt not borrow. No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, man, nothing but to love. No, 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 black and white. I'm now understanding and learning that that is really something on a case-by-case basis that you have to bring before the Lord or whatever your spiritual practice is. Me, like I said, I can't do business without God, period. So this is one of those things, like many things on a daily basis, often throughout the day, that I sit down and go, okay, God, what is your thought here? Okay, how do I pay for this? Now, I would never, ever, you remember my story, low-income neighborhood, brothel, drug street, being able to pay for Brown. So the question is, well, do I go into debt? Was that a good decision? I believe that was the path that I was me personally, I was supposed to take. And that's something I had to understand later, that yes, there was debt associated with it, even though I'm don't go into debt. And I was upset for a long time because I thought, well, I should never have gone into all this debt to go to college. I should have just gone to a school. Law school was about a fourth of the cost of going to Brown. It was literally a fourth of the cost. So there you go. But then would I have gone to law school if I hadn't gone to Brown? Would I have those relationships I am using today to get before television executives because they went to Brown? That relationship does not exist without me going to Brown. So you really have to take this particular question really in prayer, in presence, whatever your thing is, and get clarity and an answer on that. But for parents who are thinking and planning about the future, let this be your motivation. Let this not even be an issue 10, 15 years from now because you're building a family enterprise. Is that satisfactory, or did I completely dodge that? You can tell me. I'm your mom. You can be like, Mom, you dodged that. You didn't even answer that question.
It's food for thought. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Then I'll get confused because I'll read these books and it tells me, you can't have credit if you don't go into debt. But then I hear if you go into debt, you get trapped in the rat race. And
yes.
I don't want to be in a rat race.
Yes.
So,
how do you figure out what to do?
Yeah.
So there's the question that Sabya had posed, which was, do I go into college debt for this education, right? Which is yet another question is and you will see this, as soon as you hit campus, you will get credit card offers from left and right. Mm-hmm. Do you now get into personal debt? Get a credit card in your name to establish credit. That I'm not a fan of at all. Yeah. But again, case by case basis, but do I now just go and open a credit card so I can build up my credit history? I'm not a fan of that as a college student. Does that help distinguish the personal credit? And then here's another one. And let's be honest. Let us be completely honest. I know of a very, very famous real estate developer who used student loans to fund his business while in college. That's another thing that's there. Do I advise that? No. In general. Again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt and you kind of think about it in your own time. But there are people that do that as well. That is how they have funded their college enterprise. I believe that you should fund your college enterprise by taking on projects, taking on contracts, having a job a job on campus to fund your college business. There are several ways to do that. Find an angel investor, be it your parents, your cousins, a stranger. There are different ways to fund that.
So you do recommend starting a business in college?
Absolutely. Start it before at orientation, you should be checking out all of the opportunities that are there for you to start your business. You should be thinking about it who are my potential partners here? Let me check them out for a year and see what's going on. What are some clubs that I could go pitch my services to? Oh, yes. Day one. Absolutely.
So do you feel like you have to have a product to be an entrepreneur?
No, because in entrepreneurship, you can sell ideas, services. You can purchase assisting businesses. So no, but you should absolutely do not, both of you, I don't have control over anyone listening, but both of you do not walk on campus without that mindset of, I'm launching a business. Sometime, within the next 2 or 4 years, I am launching a business. Now, you may be overwhelmed first semester and you're like, okay, let me kind of lay a foundation here, get my schedule straight, understand how college works, that's fine. I still want you to walk in with that mindset because I want your eyes open. I had professors, I'm kicking myself, who I went to lunch with them. They invited me to lunch because I was a student. And it didn't click for me. Oh, my goodness. I should have totally been strategizing, picking their brains, getting information, learning the ropes, perhaps asking them to make connections for me. Prominent professors. And I missed that because my eyes were shut. I did not understand, didn't have that mindset. I want you to have your eyes wide open. When you're on a college campus, you will have amazing entrepreneurs come to campus to give talks. They do this all the time. They like to come to talk to students. You will be there with your cards, with your portfolio, with your samples, with your this, with your that, ready to hand to these people. Don't you think they'll be impressed and open to hear from you, a college student, with your idea? If I could do it all over again. Learn from my mistakes, college students, aspiring entrepreneurs. Absolutely. You're listening to Family Business with Daphne, by the way, if you just tuned in on 103.9 KDKI. You're probably wondering, wow, what is this show? I thought I was tuning into a business show. Yes, you're tuning into a business show. This is about aspiring entrepreneurs. You want your next generation to come out of college with leadership skills, entrepreneurship skills, opportunities, relationships, and hopefully they've built up a business. If there's already a family business that they wish to participate in, then they could be innovating. They could be extending that. We'll talk more about that after the break. Make sure you bookmark my website, Daphne, Daphne, Mallory, MALLORY.org. And when we come back, we'll talk more about college advice for aspiring entrepreneurs.
For a good, uncomplicated way to exercise, take a walk. At any age, walking is one of the best ways to keep your heart fit and your joints limber, without the injuries that jogging.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chief hope of our enemies is to divide the United States along racial and religious lines and thereby conquer us. Let's not spread prejudice. A divided America is a weak America. Through our behavior, we encourage the respect of our children and make them better neighbors to all races and religions. Remind them that being good neighbors has helped make our country great and kept her free. Thank you.
You're listening to Family Business with Daphne. Welcome back. We're talking about college advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. You can learn more about me on my website, daphnemallory.org. It's actually my foundation. I launched it this summer. Yay! And basically what I'm up to there is that I'm trying to do my part to help three groups of people, I would say, in general. Those who are living in poor communities, senior citizens, and family business owners / entrepreneurs. I know that was like 4, but I had to, squeeze in the last 2. And I just want to help develop projects around these. How can we improve our communities? How can we economically empower all different types of groups, whether it's senior adults? Do you know there's a lot of senior poverty going on? That just, quite frankly, that drives me up the wall because I believe the foundation for a thriving community is one that honors its citizens, its senior citizens. And it should not be okay that there are senior citizens who are homeless, cannot get into affordable housing. They have to choose between medicine and paying for food. They don't have caregivers to take them out of the house. Imagine being stuck in your home because you don't have access to transportation, you don't have caregivers, you don't have family. That is not okay. And so the purpose of my foundation is to fund projects and initiatives to help improve the quality of life for senior citizens and also economically disadvantaged families and students. And so part of another program that I'm working on is called the I Have a Dream program that helps economically disadvantaged students obtain a college education and along the way provide tutoring and mentoring, cultural enrichment experiences, on and on, to really help these students have a college mindset. So those are sort of two main projects. And then, of course, funding family businesses and entrepreneurs. So family business competitions and consulting services and all these things that are provided for free to you so that you can grow a family enterprise that lasts for generations to come. But to grow a family enterprise, you need entrepreneurs. And many entrepreneurs decide to take the path of a college education. So today we're talking about what do you do when you get there? Don't waste your time. Now I think that's the big takeaway of today's show. Don't waste your time. Don't go to college just wandering around aimlessly or doing what I did, being so overworked and overbooked that you miss opportunities while you're on college campus with all of those amazing connections, relationships. I'm not even going to touch today's study abroad programs, which is another great opportunity for entrepreneurs, but I won't touch that today. But here's some stats that you can start thinking about. 10% of university students have already started a business. 17% plan to start a business before they graduate. And 27% plan to pursue their business as a career after graduating. Now, as a family business owner, sending your children, helping your cousin, your whatever, helping your grandparents. Did you know there are senior adults going back to college? Hello. And so while you're there, how do you maximize that time? I say start a business. So if you're the person in your family that's starting your family business, start on campus. If there's already a family business in existence and you're sending someone to college, start a business, extend the family business, or start a new venture just to practice entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a hands-on sport. It's not theory. In fact, theory will be your undoing. Book knowledge, I know this is so bad for a college show, right? But a book knowledge for an entrepreneur, that's like your nemesis. You need to learn how to be an entrepreneur by actually doing it. You learn by doing. You learn sales by actually selling. You learn leadership by grabbing some folks and leading them. You learn by doing. Don't think that you're going to absorb all of this knowledge through textbooks and you're going to be an amazing entrepreneur. Talk to a successful entrepreneur and they will tell you, no, it's the opposite. In fact, I have spent many years trying to unlearn much of what I learned while I was in college. So start a business. So how do we do that? Okay, let's talk about that. So girls, what are your dreams, Sabya and Hannah? If like money were not a problem, if you could dream huge, and of course, you know me, I encourage you to dream huge. What would you want to do?
No question. First woman of the United States. First lady president. Here
wow, that's amazing. Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about. No, go ahead. Did you want to add to that?
No.
Now, you know you said it. You know what that means now, right, Hannah? You have put it out into the, was it radio waves or airwaves? I got to ask the smart ones.
Radio waves.
Okay. The smart ones in the room, right? But now that you've put it out there, I think that's such a huge, and I love it because it's huge. And now we think about, well, then what business activity or goal might I pursue in college to help me build those steps to get there? So let's talk about that. Now, before I launch into that, Sabya, what's yours?
I would love to be a filmmaker and a musician, like spreading, beautiful, smart entertainment into the world. Because to be honest, TV right now, movies right now, I'm just,
Got it. That's huge. That is huge. Because, quote unquote, there are lots of obstacles, right? You live in Idaho?
I live in Idaho. Okay.
Hannah, you live in Idaho?
I went to a restaurant today.
Female? Go ahead. Tell me about your restaurant experience.
I went to a restaurant today. There's a cornfield right outside the door.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where I live right now.
Yes.
And I want to be like this big Hollywood producer and stuff. And
yeah. And then you want to create, not only do you want to do that, you want to create a business around that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So 2 huge dreams. So what in the world do you do when you get to college, right? Let's talk about that. So what you want to do to develop your entrepreneurship skills around these 2 big dreams is to find projects that build up your skills for that. Okay? Business projects that help you to learn. What would you say, Hannah, would be one of the attributes of being the president of the United States? What would be a key skill or attribute?
I think speaking.
Okay.
Speaking in front of people.
All right.
Definitely.
So, I already have, as a speaker myself, professional speaker, 5 business projects that you should be working on right away. Number 1, you should learn about how to build a little mini speaking business geared towards high school students. You are a college student. Mm-hmm. How can you enter the high school public speaking market? There are famous entrepreneurs that go and speak to high school students as motivational speakers, and they get paid. How can you build a business, a speaking business, addressed to high school students? Hold that thought. Sabya, you mentioned filmmaking and productions, building an entertainment business. So I can already think of a business project that you can do from college. Producing short films, selling it to corporations and brands as products. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Creating short films, selling it to corporations and brands as products.
I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard. I see some of the commercials nowadays, and like, where was I? Yeah, you should have just paid me $20,000, and I would have done that.
Exactly. And how? So I'm so glad you said that. Startup costs for 1 or 2 cameras feasible in college? Yeah. You can work for it.
Yeah.
You can, definitely save up for it. You could find people already there. Here is the other, thank you. Yes, just thought of this. The other benefit that I did get by going to the college I went to, and it's for I believe you can find this sort of relationship in any college, by the way, is that I had peers that did not grow up in a low-income poor neighborhood like I did. They came from money. College was to them nice. It's what you did next in the family. And those people sometimes have the equipment and funds that you're looking for when you don't have that.
Yeah.
So what you do is you partner with people on college, at college. There's some amazing businesses that have come out of these college friendships. We've all heard these stories, right?
Yeah.
And so as you have your eyes open, that's really what I want to just hit home in terms of the show today. If you have your eyes open, you will see these opportunities. There will be someone who is driving a brand new blank coming out this year, and I had many of those peers, who are sent with credit cards, by the way, with $30,000 to spend at will.
Ooh, hello.
Wow. Okay? And you go to them with a business plan and a vision, and you've done your research, and you know how to pitch. those kids will be like, well, yeah, sure, whatever, Sabya. Let's try some short films. That sounds like fun. You need 10,000?
Yeah, I need
okay,
10,000.
let's do it. Sure. And they'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, Hannah, you want to go speak to college students? And you need maybe a reliable vehicle so you can get off campus and go speak? And you can find one for 7,000? Okay, sure. Take my card. Or whatever. Or let me co-sign. You would be amazed. But if you go in blind, if you're not already thinking this way, you will miss those opportunities. You'll just think, oh, he's so funny. He always sleeps in. That rich person. And that rich person could be your angel investor if you would just have the vision going in. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So 2 business projects, right? Mm-hmm. So 2 business ideas. And so you find the business projects that you need to launch getting off campus and speaking. And then you could say, well, why don't I just open up my own speakers bureau? And I could have other college students work for me, and I can send them out to go speak. And I've now multiplied my revenue 10 times just me. Because they're not thinking that. They're just like, I'm here to study, but I can go talk to a high school for $1,000 for an hour, and then I just give you 30%. I have no idea where this accent is coming from. I know it's coming from. I had peers who talked like this to me a lot when I was going to college, so that's where it's coming from. And you get 30%, and then I get the rest. Sure, right?
Yeah.
And that's your business. And now you have before you know it, there are 50 college students who are very happy to get off campus and go talk. And you're raking in the dough because you now own the Hannah Speakers Bureau on campus. Right? Or Sabya, you're like, well, now I need a film crew because I can't lug around all this camera equipment myself. Hey, do you want to learn how to be in the entertainment industry? Sure. You don't have to pay me. I'll just follow you around. Before you know, you've got 10 people following you around and helping you. And you've got short films created. And you can now just go and pitch it to brands. Hello? Yeah. College students want to experience things. They want to intern. They want to this and that. And you're one of them. Wonderful.
But I do have a question.
Yeah.
These big, lofty ideas for starting a business.
Yes.
And I'm gung-ho, but I'm like, well, being an entrepreneur is hard and takes a lot of time. Being a college student is hard. It takes a lot of time. Where do you find the time for building this big business when I have to study 24 hours a week and I've got classes every day and I'm running around and I have this job that I need to support this college stuff and this business idea? What?
I'm so glad you mentioned that. And I know that feeling, right? Because I really did have 3 jobs while I was at Brown. And I had jobs in law school. That's another story. We'll just focus on college today. And I had 3 majors, and I was very active. I also, can you guess, I was in charge of my radio station at Brown. Hello. That's where this radio stuff comes from, too. So I did all of that, too. So the way you manage all of these activities before you get to campus, and for some of you, you're like, that's 2 weeks. Okay, first semester at least. Learn how to manage your schedule like an entrepreneur. Okay? Manage your schedule like an entrepreneur, not like a college student. Each class is a project. You schedule your classes as projects. You schedule them as class time, assignment time, networking, whatever it is. And I did say networking, right? With fellow students and peers. Maybe you need to collaborate on projects, etc. And you schedule that in just like you would any other business project. You get your calendar. If you listen to earlier shows, if not, make sure you go back to my archives. You want to plan out your week's the entire 7 days out at one sitting. You're not doing day-to-day planning. Sunday, Saturday, whenever it is, you're planning the next 7 days out. All of your class times, all of your study times, all of your business projects times, all of your social networking times, commitments, jobs, everything. You are an entrepreneur. The college experience is just a sampling of what it is you will have to do on a daily basis, working 12 to 15-hour days, scheduling multiple projects, handling multiple deadlines. This is the life, college or not, of an entrepreneur. So you just get to test it out at college. That's how you make it all fit.
And obviously, college comes with a pricey price tag.
Yes.
So any ideas or any ways you feel like we could cut cost with, average needs, necessities that could ultimately go to funding this future business?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. Yes. So you must have your own personal budget. Don't go with the average budget. I don't remember what the number was, but I do remember when I was about to go to Brown and I was doing some research, and they were like, oh, expect to pay, X amount per month on books and living expenses. And I was like, what? I would never be able to pay that. And I just did my own thing. I make sure that I've never needed name brand anything. You don't need name brand anything at college. That name brand temptation of yours needs to go into funding your business after your college expenses. Okay. You can live a frugal, fabulous lifestyle while you're living on college on a strict budget so that you can make sure that you're minimizing your debt, one, and two, you're using the money to fund your business. So live as frugal as possible. You don't have to deny yourself everything, but certainly you don't need to keep up with the Joneses, because there is the temptation when you're on campus to keep up with the Joneses. I know it was for me. And when I saw people in their brand new this and wearing their brand new that and surrounded by many, many wealthy families, it was just like, wow. But if you will really have that big vision of, okay, I'm growing something now, I'm making the sacrifices necessary now, but when I graduate, oh my goodness, I could literally have the potential to walk into something that is already set up, generating an income, and I could just grow this thing, sell it off, move on to something else, or set up something for my family. It's amazing. Think long term. Think long term. Might need to do some coupon clipping here and there. That's good too. Might need to go to a couple of free open houses that, on Pottery, but there's free pizza. Might need to do a couple of those. That's okay. You might need to, bike here and there instead of gas.
So I guess the last question I have is, we're doing all this stuff. We're building a business. We're getting ready for life, and we're doing college. When is there time to have fun?
You don't have to have fun. That's okay. In fact, parents, here's the punchline. Because they're so busy between college work and building a business, there's less time for fun. And we like that as parents. That is all good. This is a good thing, Sabya. No, you do need time for building friendships with peers in a healthy way, healthy relationships. And that's important. That's nourishing to the soul. And so you can plan that for weekends. Really. I mean, sometimes if you could get it in between, great. But what I have learned, and even reflecting back on my experience, unless you're working on projects together, which is another great opportunity, when you start joining clubs, you get to participate in projects together. You might attend those, free pizza night things together. Those are opportunities to fellowship. But usually weekends, when you've taken care of business, you've taken care of your college schedule, that's usually a great time to connect with other students. But connect with people that are like-minded. That is so key. You don't need to connect with people that are going to tell you, oh, girl, you're doing too much in terms of, again, I've told you my experience of doing too much. But because you are building a business, it will come across as you're doing too much. You know the truth of who you are, what you're called to do. And don't hang around with people who don't have that vision and they're more into partying or, having it easy in college and all that stuff. No. Find other entrepreneurs if you can. And if not, find a support system, people that will encourage you to build up your dreams and not detract from them. Is this a good time for me to have that conversation too about boys?
Ooh,
or the opposite?
Boy.
Okay. This part of the show might just be for the ladies, okay? So I firmly believe in an application process. I believe that any suitor who wants your attention needs to fill out a 400-page application. Now, it sounds very daunting, but in this application, we assess, their background, family, personal background, their aspiration, their dreams. We take some IQ tests, some psych tests, some emotional intelligence testing, your ability to manage projects. So if you need this application, because I have one, contact me. I might have to post it. I'll do a blog post on the Daphne's 400-page application for potential suitors. It has everything you need to assess that person to make sure that they would be a good fit for your entrepreneurial dream. I'm all about family business. All about that. And to add to that, sexual integrity while you're at college is key. Mm-hmm. You will not be a successful entrepreneur if you don't have sexual integrity. Now, people who lack sexual integrity during college, who are successful now, I bet if you ask them, they would say, well, okay, I had to overcome a lot of issues because of it. And they may or may not recommend it. I don't know. I know the truth of the matter. Have sexual integrity when you're on the college campus. Do not destroy your dream. It is not worth it. I cannot imagine anyone on campus, and yes, I said it, that would be worth destroying your sexual integrity. Remember Samson in the Bible? His strength came from his sexual integrity. You need strength for business. You need strength for entrepreneurship. You need clear thinking. You don't want anything to disrupt that. Remain sexually integral. Is that the word?
I say
have sexual integrity.
There we go.
Entrepreneurial strength. Ooh, that's a t-shirt. Somebody write that down and give it to me.
If it's not Jesus approved, don't do it.
Don't do it. Exactly. I love that. Yes. Yes. Because, it will zap your, forget the other obvious, consequences, right? But emotionally and from a leadership and entrepreneurship standpoint, it is bad business. Period. Any questions?
No.
Well, you've been listening to Family Business with Daphne. And today we've been talking about college advice for aspiring entrepreneurs. You can learn more on daphnemallory.org. I want to thank my two wonderful guests, Sabya Mallory, and aspiring, you got to say it, put it in the waves. Go ahead. Aspiring what?
An aspiring filmmaker and musician.
All right. And Hannah Cameron, put it in the waves. Aspiring what?
Leader?
No. Look at her. No, you're not leader. You had a specific dream. Speak it.
I don't know.
Say it.
The president would be okay.
Say it.
Hello, next President Day. Okay.
Yes. And see you next week right here on 103.9 KDKA.